Shalom Akim, Yabashim Yashar Barakatam, Bashim Rakwakadash, the bonus and salutations to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, and the Akim that do the work of Yabashim Yashar with all sincerity and diligence of mind, holding on to the faith in Yabashim Yashar. Because we have this situation of the protest that's going to take place in D.C. Sometime tomorrow. The alt-right, Unite the Right, as well as the counter-protesters, so it just goes to let you know that Jesus' kingdom is coming to an end. Its downfall is very evident. You have all types of reports that are being generated to show the people what's going on. And for the men of the Lord that are deep into prophecy, they see exactly what's going on. They understand that these Edomites are not pleased with the direction their country is going, and they are willing to risk it all, man. They're deeply offended. They're upset with the way the government is operating. They're tired of jobs being taken overseas. They're tired of their companies just shutting down. They're tired of the tax code. They're tired of the healthcare system. They're tired of the military-industrial complex, as well as their media. They're tired of their voice being silenced. So they're going to take to the streets and, let their feelings be made known. So I'm going to read 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 16. So it says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." So, Esau's pissed off, man. And they have the mayor's office coordinating with law enforcement agencies as well as metro, transit system, or how they could manage to get the situation to be contained, to keep the warring factions apart from each other. But all that is all, smoke and mirrors, man, because they expect things to go down, so they're going to beef up security. So you can imagine, they're already staging the whole event, and then who knows what's going to happen, So Akim just got to be spiritual, wherever you are. You find this protest, just let the folly and foolishness, let it just blow away, man, because that's not our main concern. Our main concern is the words of Yabashim Shai in the scriptures, all right? And then, they're tired of their congressmen, the senators and mayors, and aldermen or council members of trying to stymie their voices, They're tired of being oppressed. And the scripture talks about, oppression maketh the wise man mad. And these Edomites are angry, man. They understand what it means to have power and what's not, and what happens when they do not have it. They're tired of seeing their communities being overrun by the elites. They're tired of seeing foreclosure signs in their neighborhood. They're tired of seeing their folks strung out on drugs, being hurled to jail, committing suicide. So there are several incidents, these Edomites are complaining about. They want that great white pride back. But the Messiah is not going to let it happen because their time of rulership is coming to an end. And then verse 17 says, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able." Yeah, so the tension reaches a heightened situation, a heightened level, a critical level. It's going to be so messed up, and not only Edomites will be unable to go where they need to go to. So it's going to apply to Jake as well as the hidden stock here in America, man. So it's prophecy. It's going to happen. There is no way around it. It's where the Most High has ordained it to take place. Verse 18 says, For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So the pride of these politicians, man, is going to cause these people to go overboard, man. They're going to start seeking politicians, police chiefs, and sheriffs, deputies, and the sheriffs, the council members. They were looking for government officials that played games with their lives. The whole issue of gerrymandering, taking bribes from corporations to oppress the people, you know, misleading the people, you know, making them to have no other option but to go into captivity, into debt, So they understand what it means to be free to do as they please, but the Messiah said enough is enough with the Edomite rulership, and is going to turn it upside down. All right. So I'm going to play a video as part of the protest, and war preparations. The mayor's office in D.C., as well as Maryland and Virginia, are, are planning on how to make the situation go according to plan. So just a few videos over here.
The National Park Service now tells us that the pedestrian plaza that used to be Pennsylvania Avenue that runs in front of the White House, as well as the sidewalks in front of the White House, will be closed to the public all day Sunday from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. so that police and other first responders like paramedics can use that area as a staging ground. This is the type of scene police in D.C. and Virginia are working to avoid. White supremacists clashing with counter-protesters in Charlottesville 1 year ago. A clash that turned deadly. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, along with police, briefed reporters on security plans for this weekend.
So the whole situation just looks like an exercise, man. That's what it looks like, man. Setting up a location so ambulance crew, EMT crew, medical crew, communication crew could stage, could stage their operations. It sounds like an exercise to me. It sounds like a drill.
But Bowser won't be here. She's going forward with a long-planned trip to El Salvador.
Yeah, so she's getting out of Dodge. She's gonna let somebody else hold the bag. So that's the same old trick the elites like to use, man. When all hell's about to break loose, they're gonna get out of Dodge, go into their bunkers, go far away from the heat, away from the action, and monitor it from Skype or Twitter or from CNN or CBS, or have a live stream. So that's how ridiculous this situation is, man. Because these elites, man, they don't have no courage, man. They're all leaders in name only. They don't really care about the people. They're all there for show.
Bowser was asked today, who will be in charge while she's gone if the protests turn violent?
I'm always in charge. I'm always the mayor, no matter where I am.
Bowser did say there are options should a crisis unfold while she's out of the country.
In which case, I will make a designation that the city administrator makes any decisions that I'm not able to make. But I should say that I will, if I think that I need to be here, I'll be here.
Organizers of the Unite the Right to have a permit to rally in Lafayette Square across from the White House on Sunday. Multiple organizations have requested permits to stage counter-protests at the...
And you know how it is in D.C., man. Folks in D.C. like to pretend, man. They have a very thin skin, when shit hits the fan, man. Because they're just there to, to save face, man. They don't really have a deep foundation, man. They are very shallow. I used to live in D.C. myself. I see how simple the folks are, man. Doesn't matter if they're in the hood or they're from the affluent suburbs or from around Virginia, Maryland. It's all for show, man. They're not thick-skinned. So it just lets you know that these officials, man, they're very simple. They like to play games, semantics, pretend as if they care about the people, But all in all, man, they themselves know they're puppets. They're just gonna go along with the plans of the elites, because the elites have plans to do damage, and whoever is gonna be left holding the bag will have to hold the brunt, bear the brunt of the people. All right. So in those days, man, when all breaks loose, they'll be looking for the mayor, a chief of staff, the chief of police. They were looking at Secret Service agent, Capitol Police, Park Police, MPD, anything, man, anything that represents the protection of authority of the government. They be going after them, man, in their neighborhoods, wherever they see them, and that's gonna cause so much uproar among the law enforcement community. They're gonna quit, man. They're gonna go back home to their families. They're gonna stock up on weapons, ammo, food, and all that stuff.
Same time. Based upon the permit applications from both sides, police expect there to be far more counter-protesters than white supremacists. On the Unite the Right 2 website, organizers have instructed their supporters to bring American and Confederate flags, as well.
You see that? American and Confederate flags. That's a reenactment of the Civil War. So you can imagine, man. It's all it's all an experiment. They're using these people as guinea pigs. So it's people here, man. They don't understand what's going on, man. They think they're just there to vent out their frustration, but not knowing, it's all a stage. It's all, a game of smoke and mirrors. But once it gets out of hand, they're just gonna let it spiral out of control, and then they're gonna bring in the National Guard, or whatever troops they need to squash it.
As wearing body cameras. They're also telling them not to bring weapons or shields, and they're urging them not to react with anger. 5 groups of counter-protesters have been issued permits for rallies in separate locations across the city Sunday afternoon before marching to Lafayette Square. Mark Seagraves, News 4.
So that's what it's gonna look like, and I'll play another video here.
When these protesters get here next Sunday afternoon, this is where they'll arrive, at the Foggy Bottom Metro. They plan on taking the metro from the Vienna station here and then marching to the White House under a police escort. And it's that ride on the metro from Vienna to Foggy Bottom that has metro officials so concerned.
It's a police escorts, so they're getting treated like dignitaries, So I want to get the book of Matthew. Just bear with me, Akim. So I'm just gonna switch to a different chapter. So this is gonna be the book of Matthew, chapter 24. Then verse 8 says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you. And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. So those are the times we're living in, man. So it's going to be messed up, man, And then you have the issue of nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, famines, pestilences, earthquakes in diverse places. So these are the times of the things Yahushua talked about, to his disciples, and is the Most High's will that it must take place, So whoever is going to try to upset prophecy, they're not going to succeed, because the rulership of the Edomites is over, all right? It's coming to an end. It's coming to a screeching halt. So I'm going to play that video again, see how it goes.
This was the scene last August in Charlottesville when the Unite the Right rally went from confrontational to deadly. Now, the white supremacist group is coming here, planning to hold a rally outside the White House next Sunday. D.C. Councilmember Jack Evans, who is also chairman of the Metro Board, says police and Metro officials are worried about the possibility of violence if the white supremacists and counter-protesters clash.
We have groups that are going to be clearly at odds with each other. We'd like to keep the groups separate. We don't want any incidents on Metro.
According to the organizers' website, the plan is for the white supremacists to meet at the Vienna Metro station Sunday afternoon, then take Metro to Foggy Bottom, where they'll march down Pennsylvania Avenue to the White House for the protest. Evans says one idea being considered is providing separate trains for the opposing groups.
We're trying to see how can we keep the groups separate so that we don't have any incidents, but at the same time...
Come on, man. These folks are gonna get into it, man. There's no you know what you call a boring protest around these Edomites, man. They like to see action. You know, they like to set things on fire, just like what they did the other time. You know, when Trump got inaugurated into office. You know, they did what they had to do. They tore shit up. You know, destroyed businesses, set things on fire. Very destructive. You know. So these Edomites, man, they're looking for an outlet to release all that pent-up anger, all that steam. So they've already passed that boiling point. You know, it's time to let that steam out, and that's exactly what they're gonna do. And once they're done with it, you know, they're gonna go on Twitter, go on YouTube, you know, have a nice cold beer, you know, chat about it. They say, well, you know, we look forward to next year. you know, we need to do this again. We need to do this as often as we can. So that's exactly the mindset these Edomites are in, you know.
Not put in place different programs that could be problematic for us in the future.
Metro riders we spoke with today raised concerns.
So that the white supremacists...
Yeah, good tell it's all staged, you know, it's all phony, you know.
...views are getting their own train. It kind of shows that, okay, we as a collective are giving them a means for their background, for their beliefs. But when it comes to other protests for like LGBT, Black Lives Matter, they were never given their own separate train.
That's messed up, man. Why you gotta, you know, launch Black Lives Matter in an LGBT together? So it just lets you know, man, all these people, they're zombies, man. You know, they're just there to fulfill the agenda of the elites, man. Doesn't matter what color they look like, you know. They're all in the same boat of the zombies.
Evans says D.C. police plan to provide an escort for the protesters from Foggy Bottom Metro to the White House. Now, the union that represents Metro employees is urging its membership to stay safe. They say they are concerned about unsafe conditions, and they're urging them that if they feel unsafe, they should do whatever it takes, including leaving their stations and going somewhere where they feel more safe. A spokesperson for Metro tells us that they have not finalized any decisions as of yet. That's the very latest. From Foggy.
And the issue is that Metro, majority of the workers are Jakes, you know. Judah, Benjamin, and Levi of the Southern Kingdom. Then you have the Northern Kingdom there, you know, but for the most part, it's just the Southern Kingdom. The train operators, you know, the custodians, the engineers, the station managers, the bus drivers, you know. It's Jake, you know. Even the transit police, you got a sizable, you know, amount of Jakes on the force too. So you can imagine, you know, what's gonna go down. You know, you might have a altercation break out. You know, so it's one of those dicey moments. You know, we look forward to hearing about, seeing about. You know, because this contention between Jacob and Esau is gonna take place. You know, it's gonna heat up. You know, but for the moment, we're just gonna focus on these Edomites going against each other. You know, and then one last video, you see this this one up here, where you have the Civil War reenactment. These Edomites, they love it. They love that stuff, man. They love to reenact, you know, the Civil War, you know, different battles. You know, then this is the one for the Battle of Gettysburg, You know, just play the video. You know, you could.
President Trump. Just now, President Putin denied having anything to do with the election interference in 2016.
I had a number of cousins.
Who knows, man, what the so-called Russians might do with these protests. They might try to, infiltrate and try to let something happen. You never know, man. So it's strange times we're living in. And then you have the reenactment of the so-called Civil War, the video playing. I'm going to fast forward and let me rewind it. And
Thank you. Thank you very much.
My name is Mike Sipes, and I'm portraying Major General Jubal Anderson Early, 2nd Corps Division Commander here at the Battle of Gettysburg. I'm also a member of Lee's Lieutenants, a proud member of it, and we are here to initiate and to teach history to folks here at the event and talk about the battle and the bloodshed that took place here 154 years ago these very days.
My name is Tony Veranda with Lee's Lieutenants Living History Group.
You see, the Edomites now, they're more out of shape than back then, man. Out of shape, obese, overweight, shortness of breath, It's messed up, It's messed up.
I portray Brigadier General Johnson Pettigrew from the great state of North Carolina. I'm here July 2nd to honor the Confederate soldiers, the officers who fought so valiantly and bravely here at Gettysburg. I'm also here to honor the great state of North Carolina. 1 out of 4 Confederate casualties was from North Carolina. I hope everyone just takes a moment of time to think about southern states, the Confederate cause, and the war itself and how tragic and bad it was, and the percentage of young, brave men on both sides who lost their lives in 4 horrible years of this war.
I am David Walker, who I portray President Jefferson Davis. I am here to honor those who served and are still serving, and to educate the public on the Southern cause and the war itself. There's too many preconceived notions that all Southerners thought this way and all Northerners thought that way, and that's totally untrue.
Dave Meiske from Buena Vista, Virginia. I am portraying William Extra Billy Smith, who is a brigadier general and governor-elect here. And we are here to honor these men, both North and South.
And that was what Memorial Day was all about. It's about the folks from the South, the Confederates, honoring their dead, and then, they try to make it to honor the whole of the Union as well as the Confederates. That's what we have now. But originally it was meant to honor the Confederates, soldiers that fell in battle. And then you understand, man, it's just the elites, man, playing both sides, the elites want a greater control. And then there's, folks of the South said nope, but she had to go down, false flags here and there. So at the end of the day, man, it's still the same old shit, reincarnation. The wisdom of Yahweh Shem Shai is clearly evident on how, folks' destinies can be manipulated. So I just say Kala, Yahweh Shem Shai, Shem Kwakadash, double honors and salutations to the elder and apostle of Great Millstone who rule well. You all see that it's important to know that the Mosiah is in charge, man. I could get some more precepts. All right. So this is going to be the book of Psalms. So these Edomites, man, whenever they need to accomplish certain goals, man, violence becomes very attractive. All right. So this is Psalms chapter 73, verses 5. So it says, they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covered them as a garment. All right. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. So, these Edomites, man, whether they're from the south or the north, wherever on the face of the earth, they just want to be in rulership, man. They want to be in that driver's seat. And the Most High has let them know that that time is up. So it's time for World War III to take place. All right. And then Isaiah chapter 13. Verse 11. It says, "And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible." So all these, all these agendas that the elites are trying to plan to dominate the world, you know, that's them showing their arrogancy, trying to prove that they're above the Most High, but that's not true, So it's going to go hard for them. It's going to be difficult for them. They're going to turn against each other. That's exactly what Yahweh Shai said. They're going to betray each other. So it's beautiful to see the prophecy of Yahweh Shai come to pass. When the men of the Lord, the prophets say, Mawat la Babal, death to Babylon, death to the Edomites, race, it's spiritual, it's judgment of the Most High that's coming upon them, So it's very important to understand, man, that the judgment is coming upon the heads of these Edomites, man. And this protest is just the beginning, man. It's just the beginning. It's just gonna warm up and warm up and warm up, and then it's gonna get out of hand. So when the economy crashes, that's gonna be a major catalyst, to send this thing into overdrive. And then the draft, the mark of the beast, the race riots, the civil war. So it's gonna be so messed up, So only the elect, and as well as 1/3, will be able to escape the destruction that's coming. Whoever is left on the face of America, they're gonna be destroyed, And the elites that go hide in their bunkers, they're gonna be taken into captivity. They're gonna be shackled up. So Kahalaya Bashim Yasha Bashim Rakakadash, to the elders and the apostle of Good Stone, Shalom, and double honors. To the sincere Akia, stay faithful, keep up the good fight of faith. We're almost out of here. You just gotta hold on. You gotta bear the brunt of Edom. Their kingdom is falling apart. So you gotta know how to be patient. How to suffer for righteousness' sake. Shalom.